There have been some really good Black Friday sales this year, but in my opinion it isn't as strong as some of the years we've had. It's not that there aren't good deals, it's just that most of them aren't on the eShop. With that in mind, I have dug out about 5 or 6 physical games, as well as some really hidden eShop sales, which are absolute barjins. Now, as mentioned many times, we are giving away a couple of Nintendo Switch OLEDs at Christmas. Jack, wherever you are in the comments, let everyone know how you're getting on with the Switch OLED you won last year, and it's through our website, switchup.gg, and the company behind it that we're able to do that, which is pretty sweet. And we do offer a 10% discount over there, so you can use code SwitchUp to save 10% and your eShop vouchers will be delivered instantly. With that glorious music playing in the background, what is on sale? Will there be any barjins? And as I'm feeling quite peckish, what food products should we mention? Well, let's find out. Let's start off then with what I consider to be the deal of the week, but you only have maybe 3 or 4 hours to pick this one up before it goes off as the sale. It's Aiden Chronicles Rising, and it's currently 80% off. Now, I believe we were one of the only channels to actually review this one, so you can check out our full review of it if you're interested. But it's a side-scrolling RPG that's essentially the precursor to another game that's coming out in the next year or so. It's developed by Natsume Atari, and it's split between a town area that you gradually help the locals in, and the mines that you go down to fulfill the quests, gradually expand that system. And it didn't take me too long to finish this one, but I really enjoyed it. It's just worth noting that the ending is very much a beginning to the next game rather than one of those endings where all of the story arcs are resolved. My favourite character by far is Garou, who is essentially a kangaroo with a giant buster sword from Final Fantasy VII. The combat is a little bit samey and there are a couple of minor performance issues, but overall I enjoyed it. Well worth the price of what, half a Five Guys burger? Yes please. And that's without the cheese. Then we got some real Black Friday sales. Zelda Breath of the Wild is 52% off at the moment in America. That's at Walmart and Target, taking it down to $29. If you've got a relative with a Switch for Christmas and they haven't got this one, or if you've never played it, it's essential really for that price. As we know, Nintendo are allergic to putting their games any cheaper than 33% off, which is why I don't tend to talk about their sales anymore so much. Seems a little bit greedy to me. I think they could bump that up to 50% and we'd be laughing. But this at the moment at Target and Walmart, yes please. Thank you very much. A beautiful open world adventure. There was that moment I remember at the start where I first cut down a tree and it rolled down the hill into the river, and then I jumped on it and like basically sailed the thing off of a waterfall, and I thought, man, this is different. This is a bit of me. And that little moment kind of encapsulated my entire experience, trying to put tons of points into stamina so that I could climb everything. Yeah, man, I need to go play it again. Great game. LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga does have an excellent eShop deal across all regions. It's currently half price. Now, if you didn't see it, a few months ago we actually put out a big patch video. They've patched this one up really well since it first came out, tweaking some systems, changing the mechanics, and also they actually improved performance in some of the worst areas. This, in my opinion, is the best LEGO game we've got on the Switch. It's a huge world. It's got some seriously deep RPG mechanics. The developers must have had a complete nightmare because there's systems upon systems, but hats off to them. They've done predominantly an excellent job. You can play this one in local co-op on one Nintendo Switch, and at half price, taking it down to $29.99 or your regional equivalent. An excellent game. Really excellent. Onto my current bedtime reading game, it's Persona 5 Royal. Now, the physical of this one is 40% off at the moment. That takes it down to £32.95 here in the UK at Amazon and also at Game. And in America, you've got an even better deal. GameStop have matched Target's previous offer, and it's now $29 at GameStop. I also checked that, and it is in stock as of the time of making this video, so hopefully it will still be there for you. If you've got an Xbox as well, you can actually play this one on Game Pass, so it's worth checking it out. It's a great one to play in handheld. An incredible storyline, very deep, very hard-hitting really in terms of some of the themes, and I think it will surprise most people. If you've never played a game in this genre, I mean, I don't even know what you would class this as, a JRPG, kind of hybrid though, with some action elements as well. But it's my first in the mainline Persona series, and my goodness, I'm loving it. From one amazing game to the next then, this one is 31% off physically, taking it down to £23.99 at Amazon here in the UK, €25 in Europe's Amazon store, and $29 in the US. If you're unfamiliar with NIER Automata, I'd really suggest checking out my full review. Again, the Switch is the first place I've ever played this one, and it was a delightful experience, a fantastic port that really shows what the Switch hardware can do when it's treated with a little bit of TLC. Now this has swift action combat, whereby you'll have to switch your skills and abilities to deal with different enemy types. They'll show red indicators on the ground where they're going to attack, and it's a game that's supposed to be played out over multiple runs. So initially when I finished the first run, I didn't realise that essentially that's not the end. You play again and again and again, and it changes up basically the way the story plays out completely. I believe there are about 5 main playthroughs you should do, and then after that it's like bonuses and things like that. But that 5th playthrough, man, oh yeah, good times. Well worth picking up physically. This would be a great stocking filler for yourself. If I didn't already own it, I'd be picking up this absolute BARJIN. Now, I just texted Glen to see if this was a deal, and he was like, my goodness, that's very good. At the moment, you can get Bravely Default 2 for the ludicrously cheap price of $19.99 on Amazon here in the UK. That's at least 50% cheaper than its base price. The same goes for Europe and America. Physically, you can get it for 35 quid. If you're unfamiliar with the system that the title's based on, it's essentially the Brave and Default system. At its core, it's a risk-reward mechanic that you'll have to employ during combat, but also, very important in this sequel are the jobs that are in the game, so you have to make sure you're choosing the right jobs for the right enemies, and if you don't, as I found out to my frustration, you will get yourself absolutely rinsed until you properly take the time to plan out what jobs you're going to use. But it is very easy and fluid to switch these out. Now, it's a JRPG at its core with a really nice art style, and also quite approachable in the sense that if you want to grind you can, but if you don't, you could focus more on the job system and how you build up your party to tackle the more challenging areas. The hidden gem this week then is one that's on the eShop, and it's available in the US region, and it was previously on the EU store, and it was the hidden gem over that side. It's Unsighted, which is a 1 or 2 player action adventure with RPG mechanics from a top-down perspective that came out at a really unfortunate time where it didn't get any attention. Now at the moment it's just $11.99, which is 40% off. It's its cheapest ever price, and it centers around Alma, who is an automaton. The start of this is so difficult. You start out and essentially you're being chased by this creature, and I died so many times before I got past that section that I almost gave up on the game. But then when I got past it, and it wasn't that difficult, I was just being rubbish, but it really opens up and it's an excellent story. It's one of those, I guess a bit like Eastward, that as you play through it, and I tell you what else, Crosscode, those kinds of games where you don't really give them much in terms of, I don't know, you just don't put much gravitas on what they're going to offer you, and then by the end you're like, oh my goodness, that was incredible. And this one does that in terms of telling such a good story whilst having really nice combat mechanics, some good upgrade systems, but also having the co-op mode, which no one talks about, just being able to give someone else a controller. Do not sleep on this hidden gem. Now I know it's not available in the UK regions, there is a physical of this one available though, so maybe have a look around and see if you can find that for a BARJIN price. The American side does have the best eShop deals in this one for sure, and I didn't even know this was a thing. You can get the Assassin's Creed Anniversary Edition Mega Bundle, which includes the full Rebel collection, which we obviously know has Black Flag and Rogue in it, which are 2 of the best Assassin's Creed games. That includes all of that DLC. This includes the Ezio collection as well as all of that DLC. So that's 3 more games, Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood and Revelations, and it includes Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered, all for what? $44.99, that's 55% off. If for some unusual reason you've never played these, I mean, what a way to pick them up. Now what I don't know is if this is available physically. You would think it would be, but what I will say is regardless, you're still going to have to download at least 34 gigabytes. So that's the drawback here, isn't it? You've got this huge thing that's bigger than a lot of people's micro SD cards. Now if you're not in the America, then you can actually pick up some of the deals individually. So for example, I believe Assassin's Creed Remastered, the 3rd game, is 63% off on the eShop. The Rebel Collection is 62% off, and the Ezio Collection's 47% off, but it's still going to be more expensive than you're paying here for all of them. The kids pick this week then, and kids, big kids, adults, you know, whatever, it's up to you. Animal Crossing New Horizons physically is 52% off at Walmart over in the US. That takes it down to $29, which really is a deal. And I think that matches the cheapest it's ever been over there for you guys. Here in the UK, we get stitched up a little bit, but it's not too bad. You can save 26% at Amazon, taking it down to $36.99. If you're a fan of this type of game and this type of experience, I mean, which, let's be honest, every child is going to be, and some adults are. I wasn't too fussed by it, but Glen absolutely loved it. There's so much here. One of the highlights for me was going into Isha Gaming. If you know her channel, Irene from Isha Gaming, she took me around her world and showed me all the stuff she'd built. And fair play, you can make some incredible things here. If you really put your mind to it, there's not much you couldn't design in terms of layout and things like that. And I must admit, I do like the idea of building up my museum. That kind of does appeal to me. But that Tom Nook geezer, like, he can do one. So yeah, I'm not a aficionado of Animal Crossing, but it is well worth that discounted price at the moment in the Black Friday sale. Let's land then with quite a safe one really, and one that we've probably all owned multiple times, but if you haven't, it's got to be worth that price. It's $24.99, it's Skyrim. And I've put it on here because I saw a post basically from some bloke on Twitter who had never played Skyrim before, and he picked it up on Switch, and he was like, I know everyone's played it. In fact, it might have been Reddit. He was like, I know everyone's played it, but I've just started Skyrim on Switch, and my goodness, am I loving it. And it was just so nice, you know, a bit like when I started playing Persona 5, and everyone was like, I can't believe you've not played it. I'm so jealous that you get to play it for the first time. I felt a bit like that seeing his messages, because I would love to be playing it for the first time again now, and doing it in handheld where it's running delightfully. Man, I would, can you imagine Christmas with that? Yes please. So yeah, you know the deal with Skyrim. I don't really need to tell you. It's a first person RPG, massive open world, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of content. There was an expansion release that basically balked the gameplay, like the frame rates tanked the anniversary upgrade, but they've released a patch in the last couple of weeks which has improved upon massively the issues that they created. So if you're after the anniversary pack as well, it's actually an okay time to pick it up. The recap then, we've still got Garden Story at 40% off, which ends on November the 29th. A really nice top-down Zelda-style action-adventure, but featuring a load of cute little garden creatures. Fist, that lovely Metroidvania featuring a bunny rabbit with a giant mechanical fist, is also still on sale. That one's not in America, unfortunately, but it's 30% off. SnowRunner, imagine Grand Theft Auto, but without all the violence, the killing, and the people, and instead focusing on vehicles, heavy physics-based gameplay, real-world mechanics, and jobs that actually make sense. Well, that's SnowRunner. Plus there's an online mode which is so much fun. That's 30% off in all regions. Everspace is also still on sale in all regions, kind of. In the UK we've got it on the eShop, but in the US Walmart have got a really nice discount on it. That's 70% off at the moment. Curse of the Dead Gods, that was in the shadow of Hades for so long, but it's a brilliant game. Similar mechanics, but an interesting curse system, risk and reward, and that's 50% off at the moment, taking it down to $8.99 in all regions. And then the lovely Space Tales, the Metroidvania where you get to play as a little pooch. So that's it for this Black Friday sale. Hopefully I've managed to dig out the best deals. It does annoy me a little that Nintendo don't do like a 50% plus sale on their eShop games, but who cares, we still find some good bargains. Thanks to all of you, thanks so much to all of you that enjoy the channel. I am so looking forward to you guys seeing the Christmas videos. There will be a community post and also on our Discord some posts about your best games of the year. So if you want to take part in that, the Discord link is in the description, and just keep your eye out with your notifications on for the community post where you'll be able to vote on your favourite games, and that will go into its own video. All that's left to say is just a massive thanks. If you want to save 10% on any of these games, use code SwitchUp over at switchup.gg to get your eShop credit. And thanks to our Patreons and members. I've just uploaded a load of new emojis actually that my brother sent me. They're looking very, very tasty. So make sure you're using those if you're a member. For all things Switch, all the time, keep it Switch up. Cheers guys. See ya. Oh, that was a good one.